Hey, I'm George, and I went to school with someone who became really famous, like Chris Brown type famous. I can't tell you his real name, but if I did, you'd know who he is straight away. I'll just call him Simon for now. We were best friends for years and always hung out after school. We weren't very popular, but we didn't care. We were too busy playing video games. However, Simon had an amazing voice. And when he sang at our high school Christmas concert, a lot of girls suddenly liked him. I mean, he is quite good looking, but nobody noticed until he sang The Way You Look Tonight. When he was 17, Simon appeared on a talent show on national TV. The prize was a massive recording contract with a boy band. I wasn't surprised when he won and became the lead vocalist. I can't say the name of the band, but I guarantee you've heard of them. It was nuts. Simon dropped out of school to be in the band, so we didn't hang out playing games anymore. I didn't blame him. Why would he need to talk to a loser like me? He was touring all over the world, doing concerts in huge arenas with girls screaming his name. While he was off having an amazing time, I stayed in school and graduated, but I had no idea what I wanted to do next. Do I envy Simon? Of course. He's so successful, and he didn't even have to work for it. I mean, he just signed up for a TV show, and his natural talent and good looks got him through. Overnight, Simon went from being a nobody to making millions of dollars. He makes more in a month than most people do their whole lives, and all he has to do is sing a few dumb songs, while I'm working in a burger joint at weekends just to make a few bucks. I know I should be happy for him. He's my best friend, and I want him to do well. But every time I go on Instagram and see his posts, I compare my life to his, and it sucks. I guess I'm your typical confused, lazy teenager. I don't know what to study, and college is an expensive mistake if I don't make the right choice. I'd much rather tour the world and sleep with groupies. But I'm not Simon. Since he became famous, Simon has only been back to my house once. I guess it's hard to find time for your friends when you're a pop star. We didn't have time to play any video games because Simon had a gig later that day. But he told me all about his crazy new life. He's got girlfriends all over the world, just about one in every city. When he talked about how much he loved singing on stage, you could tell how happy he was. I felt like the world's worst person because instead of being happy for my friend, I just felt jealous. When he asked me how things were going, I choked, because there was nothing great going on in my life. And after he left, I felt like such a loser. I wanted to curl up and die. But then something inside me snapped. I realized I had to up my game and make something out of my life. I had wasted years playing video games with Simon when I could have learned programming and written my own games. I mean, I'll probably never make as much money as Simon, but money isn't everything. I can still have a successful career, and I don't want to be like him with a girl in every town anyway. I'd much rather find one special person to love and then start a family together. I believe that progress in life is like going to the gym. You practice something every day, and as long as you keep working on it and don't give up, you will make progress and improve your life. That's why, since Simon came round, I've been practicing programming for at least 2 hours a day. I'm still a beginner, but at least I'm getting somewhere. I feel like I'm at the start of a great adventure. I don't know where it will take me, but I know it will be somewhere interesting and exciting. I just hope that when I'm old, I'll be able to look back and say, I really did something with my life, instead of wasting time and energy comparing myself to other people and playing video games. Thank you for listening.
Hey, my name is Adrian, and I'm from a very poor country called Moldova. One day, I was walking to school when I saw a girl begging on the street. I felt bad for her. She looked the same age as me, so I gave her my school lunch. Her face was covered in dirt, but I could tell that she was beautiful. When I got back home, I told my mom about the girl I saw on the street. She responded, "That poor girl. If she's beautiful and on the streets, she won't survive very long." I said, "What? Why not?" My mom responded, Don't you read the news? They will take her to Turkey and sell her there to evil men. I was shocked and said, we can't let that happen. We have to rescue her. My mom responded, well, do whatever you have to do. So the next day, I went searching for the girl. And after a few hours, I found her laying on the ground. She was crumbling out of pain, and I asked her, hey, is everything okay? She responded, my stomach, it hurts. And I said, don't worry, my mother can give you some medicine if you want. I could tell she didn't quite trust me, but also didn't resist when I pulled her up and brought her to my home. There, my mother gave her some painkillers and sent her to take a shower. When she came out again, she looked completely different, like a normal girl, even though very beautiful. That day, I asked her why she'd been homeless, and she told me how she had grown up on a farm on the countryside, but her mom had turned insane and kicked her out one day. She said she had never gone to school because she had to help her family working on the fields. I felt so bad for her. I said, hey, if you want, you can live with us now. We don't have much money, but we will give our best to take care of you. She said, wow, thank you. That would be so grateful. That's how our friendship started. We spent lots of time together and often wandered through the forest. But one time, she hurt her feet and couldn't walk anymore, so I had to pick her up and bring her home. I know it was wrong, but it felt good to feel her skin on mine. And I guess she enjoyed it too, because she cuddled her head against my chest. When we arrived back home, she gave me one long hug, then looked into my eyes and said, thank you so much. You are my hero today. Of course, I've had feelings for her before, but now I knew she liked me too. So the next time we went to the forest, I asked her, hey, do you like me? She turned red and whispered, maybe. I had no idea what that meant and said, oh, it's okay if you don't like me. Don't worry. But she responded, no, I do like you. Wow, I hadn't expected such a clear answer, but I knew what I had to do next. I gently pulled her towards me and slowly kissed her. And since that day, we have been a happy couple.
Hey, my name is John, and I had a pretty normal upbringing, but everything changed when I turned 18. I was applying to college when I discovered that my social security number didn't match my name. I thought it was just a mistake and asked my school counselor for help, but he said that there might be another explanation. He went on to check my name in the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children database. And that's when we discovered that I'd been listed as missing for 15 years. I was so confused. I mean, this couldn't be true. Or because I looked just like my dad, I knew we were related. And although my mom wasn't around, she had always told me that she had left us after giving birth to me. While I went back home, my school counselor contacted the FBI without telling me. They immediately arrived at our home to interview me and to arrest my dad. It was horrible to see him being taken away in handcuffs. And the next day, they introduced me to my mom. She was crying as she took me into her arms, calling me her baby and going on about how much she had missed me. She even told me we would never be separated again. But I had no clue who this woman was. It was just awkward. I wanted my mom to be happy, though, so we moved in together, and she told me how and why my dad had stolen me from her. Apparently, my parents split up when I was 3 years old, and they couldn't agree who should have custody of me. One day, when my dad picked me up after school, he drove us from Alabama to Ohio to start a new life, and my mom never saw me again. She told me how painful it was for her all those years, wondering where I was and if I was okay. At first, I couldn't believe that my dad had taken me away from my mother. It was such a cruel thing to do. But I still can't hate my dad. He raised me well. He always made sure I studied hard in school, which is why I'm one of the top students. And that's also why, when it was time for him to be sentenced, I said I didn't want him to go to jail, because he had taken such great care of me. The judge agreed that my dad was a good father, but stealing a child is still a serious offense. So now my dad's serving a 4-year prison sentence. I went to visit him recently, and he told me his version of why he had stolen me from my mother. He said that my mom had threatened to tell the police that he was beating me. So if he hadn't taken me away from her, my mom would have made sure he never saw me again. But of course, my mom says that none of that is true, and to be honest, I don't know who to believe. But I do know I forgive my dad. Currently, I'm living with my mom, and although I love her, it's weird because it still feels like she's a complete stranger. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying my best to build a relationship with her, but I don't think I'll ever love her the way I love my dad. Because he is the reason I became a responsible and honest person. Please let me know in the comments how you would handle this situation. Would you forgive your dad for stealing you from your mom?
I loved my mom more than anything, even though she was a monster. One time she told me, "It's your fault I lost the lotto again. I should send you far away to some boarding school. I just hate being a mother." I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to be a bad daughter. Oh, I'd be a millionaire by now if it wasn't for you bringing bad luck into the house. Trust me, I tried everything to earn her love. Happy birthday, Mommy. I made you a drawing in Picasso style. Oh my God, it's hideous. But I'm not surprised. This isn't the first time you disappointed me. No one cared about me until I met this guy, Kane, at a bus stop. He was new in town and looking to make friends, so I took him mushroom hunting. But maybe that was a mistake. He was quite confident and asked me if I've ever had a boyfriend. I lied to him and said, "Oh yeah, I've dated several guys before." That's when he gently took my hand and pulled me in for a kiss. I was nervous, as it was my first kiss ever, but he was handsome, and it felt right. Afterward, I thought we were a couple, but it was complicated. Kane joined my school, and some jerk told him, "Kane, no, you can find a better-looking girl than her. Dump her." He replied, "You better shut your mouth or you'll regret it." I really thought he loved me, but sometimes guys enjoy a girl for a few weeks, and then they get tired of her and move on to the next one. That's what happened when the hottest girl in our school came over to us and said, "Hey, Kane, Friday is my birthday party. You are invited, but please come alone." I got so mad I told her to go to hell, but Kane interrupted me saying, "You know what? I'm sick of hanging out with you anyway. Mushroom hunting is boring. I'd rather go to a pool party." He dumped me, and that was the moment I stopped caring. My whole life I had tried to be a good person for nothing. Everyone treated me like trash anyway. I went home and screamed at my mom, "Apologize for being such a bad mother." Huh? You think I wanted to have a daughter? Huh? If your dad hadn't gotten me pregnant with you, then I'd be happily married now and have a great career. That's when I snapped. I took a baseball and started smashing everything. The TV, the windows, the walls, and my mom was too afraid to stop me. It felt good. I had finally earned her respect. And the next day in school, some girl called me stinky, so I pulled her hair back and poured ice all over her. The girl started crying and called a teacher who lectured me. "This is unacceptable behavior. I'm disappointed in you." What? You never cared when the other girls teased me. Now let me show you how much I care about you. I took his glasses, threw them on the ground, and stomped on them. Of course I got suspended, but I quickly found a job at a cafe where this cute guy, Danny, worked. I said, "Hey, want to watch a movie at my house tonight?" "Sorry, I already have plans." "Oh, please. I don't want to spend the night alone again." Finally, he agreed. But instead of watching a movie, I took him directly to my bed and made out with him. He must have loved it a lot because he started visiting me every night. But then he took it too far. "Look what I got you." It's not my birthday. I know, but it's our 3-month anniversary. I bursted out laughing. Did he really think we were a couple? Well, Danny didn't own me, so the next weekend I went to a party and made out with a new guy. Trust me, I was a very bad girl that night. But when I hung out with Danny again, I got a text from my new lover. "Who's that?" "Just one of my flings." "What? Are you trying to hurt me? You know I love you." "Oh, stop lying. You only want me for one thing, and that's okay." "No, you always see the worst in others, and it's getting annoying. You are a jerk." He walked out the door, and I started crying. Maybe I did love him too. Maybe I was just scared of getting hurt again. So I apologized and said, "I do love you. It's just that I don't want some guy to break my heart again." Then Danny made me the most insane promise ever. He said, "I won't kiss you again until our wedding day." I didn't think anyone would ever want to marry me, but I played along. It was cute at first, but quickly got annoying. I screamed, "Make out with me now, or I'm gonna throw you out of the house." Nope. This is boring. Why should I waste my time with you if there are thousands of guys who would love to have fun with me? It drove me so bonkers that I completely stopped seeing him. But every Friday he wrote me a 2-page letter telling me about his life and how much he missed me. After 6 months and 24 letters, I gave in. "You are really not going anywhere, are you?" "Told you. You're stuck with me." I gave him a big hug and tried to kiss him, but he said, "It's not time for that yet." Then he took me out to a romantic dinner and proposed. I couldn't believe my luck. We are getting married tomorrow. He kept his promise. Our kiss at the altar will be our first in 3 years. And I